excited to share with you all this wonderful content about how to optimize your social media. We're going to get started here with our slides. So here's our theme. By way of introduction, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Dan Pendergast, the creator of VinePost, the owner of PenderCo Tech Solutions, where we provide all sorts of technological solutions for the wine industry. Been in the industry 12 years, and I've worked in various roles at Wine Direct and Wine Glass Marketing, and I've worked with quite a few wineries. And I'd like to introduce Jeff. Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Dan. Thanks so much for having us today. Uh, Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the VP of Partnerships here at Commerce 7. I started in January here. I came over with the acquisition of Wine Direct, and my role is to help partners succeed, and as a result, help wineries succeed. So, Commerce 7 has a really unique approach, which I really admire, to enabling partners. We have APIs that are open to everybody. The same APIs that we use internally, we open up to our partners. And really the goal is to help find ways for wineries to succeed. We provide core components for direct-to-consumer business of e-commerce, point of sale, wine club, reservations. But then we work with partners like Dan and like Penderco to extend that core functionality and do innovative things, right? That are going to help our clients, attract new customers, retain customers, and operate their business more efficiently. So we're really happy to be here. I do recognize that times are tough right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of things going on in the industry. Um, we were in the process of doing a lot of migrations of Wine Direct customers over to the Commerce 7 platform. And we've had hundreds move already. And we've seen that on average, wineries are increasing their DTC sales after the move by about 20%. And that's because we have a platform that really gives you tools to succeed with your direct-to-consumer business, and including apps like VinePost that are going to help you do more and be more efficient and reach more customers. Um, so, one point I'll just touch on, Dan, really quickly as an example is we've all heard the news this week about RNDC making the big decision to leave California. We have a bunch of clients that are um, now scrambling, right? That are using RNDC, scrambling to find a different solution for the California market. And I think our recommendation to people is, well, this is a great time to double down on your DTC program, right? Like regardless of your sales channel, when you're building your brand yourself, you're using tools like VinePost. Maybe you're going to go out and find a new distributor, and maybe that's a behemoth like RNDC, or maybe it's like somebody mid-market or somebody more regional. What more do they want than a brand that it generates its own demand and that connects with its customers and provides a really great experience? So we really think that it's a great time to double down on DTC. And even though it's tough, like we have tools to help you succeed, and really part of the partner network that we have, and really proud to be a partner with VinePost. We think they're doing great things, and we're really excited to be a part of that and are here to help clients be successful. So, I'll turn it back to you, Dan. Thanks so much for having us today.
I appreciate you being here, Jeff. Yeah, it's It's certainly trying times, right, in the DTC world. So we definitely want to focus on helping you to be able to grow organically. And that's what this is all about. The easiest ways to optimize social media, organically grow your audience. And we'll have a Q&A at the end of the session as well if you have any questions on any of this. And so to start off, the whole reason why we're here, the topic, what are the easiest ways to grow and to manage your social media and to optimize it? And we're going to cover three main ways. We won't take too much time because we know we're all busy, but this is really valuable information that you pay for in an online course. So we're sharing this with you for free. We want to be able to help you to succeed. So the first tip, the first point here, short form video, but focusing effectively on it. This includes TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And we're going to get into why YouTube's important, but Instagram and TikTok, they heavily push video in addition to just the carousel posts, the picture posts, especially to new audiences. And they push this kind of content out because it is the most attractive. So some pro tips you can see, really key, hook viewers within 2 seconds. Our attention span is so short these days. And one of the best ways to stop them from scrolling is to just hook them with a 2 second point, something that will get them to be really interested. And one of the ways you could do that is to use our 100 best wine specific hooks booklet. Um, so you could request that in the chat or in the comments. Now, the next point is about audio. And with audio, Instagram has actually made this a little bit easier. TikTok's made this easier to find the trending audio and songs that are being used today. And we recommend songs with less than 1,000 uses. It's hard to find sometimes, but if you can find that, that assists you in reaching more of your audience, additional audience members. So that is a really interesting trick that not everyone's talking about, but that's the whole reason why using trending audio is important. And it might mean not necessarily using songs that you like, but perhaps using songs that your audience will be drawn to. So that's a key point. And then when you're filming, filming footage and videos can take a lot of time. So batch your time. If you can set out an hour of filming different pieces of footage. Maybe you can film tasting three different types of wine and have your tasting notes there. Maybe you can film, having a tour of the behind the scenes and split that into 4 or 5 different videos, short form videos. And then the key here is to schedule them consistently. So, if you post, once every week, you're not going to grow very fast at all organically. But if you post multiple times a day, that will encourage a much faster growth. Even if you can try and post at least, you know, twice a week at the very least, that's the kind of the bare minimum you should be doing. If you posted, on the other hand, 4 times a day, which seems excessive, but it's really not, you will grow faster. Um, and you might be wondering, like, oh, when I get people unfollowing me if I post that frequently. The fact is, you really won't, because your posts only go to a very small percentage of your actual followers when you initially post on these platforms. So another key thing to take note of. So when we talked about trending audio, I just want to give you a little bit of a visual here. When you're in something like Instagram, if you're using a professional or a business account or a creator account, you'll have a professional dashboard. If you're not using a professional account, you probably should. So you can switch into that fairly easily and quickly. And then when you look at the trending audio section, you can go ahead and see what's trending right now. So we recommend choosing audio that has that little green up arrow. That means that it's in the uptick, and that's what's trending and gaining popularity. And if you can choose an audio clip that has less than 1,000 reels, then you're in really good shape. On the screen here, there's a song there called The Good Life that's got 8,200 reels. If you can't find anything smaller than that, then that's probably your best pick. So just an example of what kind of audio you're looking for. And then another nice little trick also in your professional dashboard, if you're going to look for the best posting times, this gives you a little clue here. You can click on your new followers option or all followers and then see right here, the pink bars on this phone, what are the most active times of your followers. And when you post during those times, you can see Wednesday 9 a.m., Thursday 12 p.m. Post at those times because that's when your followers are the most active on the social media platform that you're using right now. So little tricks to make your life a little bit easier. The second way to make things easier is to engage actively in your community. So this means commenting. When we run an account, if we're an agency or if we're a winery running our own, marketing team, and we're posting. But one of the things that we often can forget about is commenting and finding other posts of other businesses and commenting on them. It's going to be key because if every day if you comment on five or more different posts, something quick, something simple. Guess what's right there beside your comment? Your account name, your business name. People see that. People can tap on it and then they can follow you. You can also like additional posts as well. So try and be social because it is social media. So in our pro tips here, we've listed, find your customers' posts. Those are that, that's such a good connection point. It's an additional touch point with your customer. They've already maybe been to your tasting room, they've already bought from you, they've been to your website, but when you comment, that enhances the relationship with them, and that's going to encourage further growth with that relationship with them. And if you aren't already doing this, we recommend having a QR code somewhere visible at the tasting room or at the checkout or on your iPad, somewhere so that they can just take their phone, scan your QR code, and then they can see your social accounts quite easily from there. Now, another point here, you see larger content creators who are also on YouTube. It doesn't take very long to kind of Google up and see, okay, who's a content creator on YouTube that's reviewing wines. Maybe they're in your own state, maybe they're in your area. Try to connect with them, comment on their posts, find them on Instagram, find them on TikTok. Because you can see here we have this point that YouTube has a higher average conversion rate. People on YouTube are just kind of more ready to buy than when you're sitting down relaxing on Instagram or TikTok. So if you can get your wine out in front of other purchasers on YouTube, there's a much higher chance of getting a purchaser from that platform. So another important key here. And YouTube to compete, they've started using YouTube Shorts to allow a short form vertical video format. So it's going to be key to utilize that if you're not already doing so. And comment on fellow wineries posts. Positive contribution to the community, right? If they're already buying wine, if they're already following another winery, they're very likely going to follow you because that's already an interest that they've made. Now, we're not saying, poach the sales or anything like that, but when they see that you're commenting and you're supporting that other winery and you're saying, hey, that wine looks awesome, we love that, and without pitching or plugging your own, potential buyers will notice and they'll see that integrity and then they'll give you a follow. So just another really key point for us to share, we had to share with you today. When you're posting, there's, of course, posts and there's reels, right? And there's videos. But when you're going to your stories and you can insert things like stickers and buttons and polls, a very effective way to get engagement is to have things like a QA, have some quizzes in your stories, some interactive stickers that they can tap on and they can comment, or a countdown to a sale coming up. Those kinds of things can really get people engaged and interested. And your stories primarily are going to your followers. So that's where it's a little bit different to post to your stories versus posting to just a reel, because again, a small percentage of your reels initially go to your followers, and the larger percentage goes to brand new uh, non-followers. So your stories are going to be more tailored to your audience that you currently have, your existing followers. Then try to set some reminders or track your interactions. So sometimes with all these different platforms, it can be kind of tricky to, see who you message, which platform you message them on. It's a little bit hard to keep track of it all, but it's going to be a key thing to see, okay, who's messaging you? Did you respond to them? Uh, Responding to them could be a sale, right? Now, the third point, creating shareable, save worthy content. And the reason we're sharing this point is because shares and saves are extremely valuable in getting your posts to more viewers. Much more important than a like or a comment. Um, it signals a high value, as you can see here in our notes. It indicates that there's a long-term interest. And sometimes it just takes asking to save, saying, hey, save this post for later. And then you've got maybe a carousel that you can swipe through that has some really valuable, tasting notes or a couple of recipes that they can swipe through. They'll save that and it'll come back for later. And then that post will then get more performance. You can see some other examples in our pro tips posts like your best food pairings, top three recipes for white wines, things like that. Those kinds of carousels or attractive infographics, those will help your viewers or your followers to save that, especially to have a little call to action that says save for later on your first carousel post. Now, another point here, thought-provoking caption first posts. Um, get their viewpoint on something, encourage them to save that and they'll come back and watch it later, but get their viewpoint. That can help them to share it with a friend and get their opinion on it. That can also get them to comment as well. But yeah, when you get a point where they can say, hey, read the caption for more, they'll spend more time on that post as well. And if it's a reel and it says, hey, read the caption for more, and they swipe through to the caption, that video is playing and they're spending more time on that post as well. So that also helps boost the engagement. Now, you can plan, you can preview your posts, you can test different formats, see what resonates. If you have the right tools, then that can assist you to be able to more easily and more efficiently in all the same area, be able to get your content out to more viewers and to post the most effective content. You don't really want to keep posting the same thing over and over, and it's just not getting results, and you just don't know why. So having the right tools can help. Now, just to give you a little brief breakdown on your engagement ranking. So shares are the most valuable. Saves are the next level down. Still very valuable. Comments, and then you can see slightly less valuable if you get them to go to your link in your bio, profile taps, link clicks, and then likes. They're all good, but you can see from order of priority, you should be trying to get as many shares and saves and comments as you can. And if you can get a comment or a post that triggers all three of those top ranking pieces, then you're going to be greeted with a higher priority by the social media algorithms, and it's going to perform a lot better. It's going to reach more people. It's going to get pushed to more viewers. That's the trick. And you can do that with things like a giveaway, right? If you're going to give away some merch, a nice, a nice wine key, right? A nice coaster set, maybe team up with some other merchandise providers, then you can have, require them to share it, require them to save it, require them to comment to enter the giveaway. And then those things will help that kind of posts perform. So we talked about a lot of different pieces here in short order. How do we make it easier, right? Consistent content creation, only about 10% of your audience sees your posts. You can comment, you can see which posts are getting engagement. But the point of all this is, VinePost can help you make this easier. So just briefly, what is it? We have a single cloud-based platform that collects all your social media statistics. It lets you post your social media from one spot to all of your different platforms. And it gives you actionable insights on what kind of posts you should do instead of what you're sharing now. So it helps you to see what's working, what isn't working with your audience, who are your audience, what are their demographics, what states are they most populated in, and that can help you to have all this useful analytical data. So, we recommend you try it out. We've got a 1 week free trial and nothing to lose. Just let us know if you'd like to give it a shot, and we'll help you onboard. You're not going to pay anything for onboarding. Um, Getting set up can take just a few seconds, and then all your Instagram, your Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, all of it can be connected. LinkedIn, everything. Once you start using it and getting to the flow of it, you really won't want to go back to posting your old way of having to go into each separate, platform. Or if you're using a platform like VinePost, perhaps you're already dealing with, the choice of do I keep using it or not, because your alternative solution might be fairly pricey. So we recommend you give us a shot. And not only that, because of my background in the industry, you've got someone who's going to support you who understands your specific needs as a winery. It's got all these wonderful features, and I don't want to, go too far over time because we do have a few minutes left. But we've got your specific captions for each platform. It's super easy. I'll demonstrate how this looks. You've got combined demographics where you can see the demographics from all your different social platforms. Then you're going to have some help. You're going to have some unlimited AI caption use assistance. If you want to use any kind of help, give it a prompt and then it can give you something that's useful for a caption, along with emoji and hashtag recommendations. And then when we talked about batching videos ahead of time, this is a huge time saver. So if give yourself a few weeks and in time, you could have quite a few posts scheduled out. And now you don't have to spend an hour every single day or an hour every single week trying to put together some content and running behind schedule. And another thing that's really key, I just want to focus on content recycling for a second. Because your social posts go to just 10% of your audience when you first post it, recycling your content every couple of months, allowing yourself to repost something you posted that's evergreen and isn't time sensitive, 3 months later, there's nothing wrong with that because a huge amount of your audience didn't already see it. So recycle your content. And when you're doing that, that's going to give you more content to work with. So we've got this solution here focused on your needs. It's got tons of useful data, useful features. Try it out if you're interested, because we want to make your life easier. That's the whole reason that we've done this. It's got a Canva integration. It's got a Pexels integration. If you want to have some help designing something, you can pull your Canva design right into VinePost from there. Now, is it really going to help you, right? We don't want to sacrifice a marketing teammate or an agency. This is not designed to replace an agency or team, from your marketing team. But you can still save up to about 7 hours a week, regularly 4 to 6 hours per month on the bulk scheduling alone, and 7 hours a week of redundant processes of trying to post all these different platforms. So this is why having a tool like this is going to be beneficial for you. Now we have it structured on an architecture called Cloud Campaign, which it's got unbelievable ratings through Capterra. If you were to compare the Cloud Campaign architecture versus other platforms, the Cloud Campaign architecture we build VinePost on is rating much higher than the alternatives, or at least very close. If not the same, it's always higher. So there's a lot of different agencies using this architecture. VinePost is there for you for the wine specific use. Now, is it really helping? Right? Let's look at the pricing. Right? If you're using Hootsuite $400 per user. That's not even just for your whole team, that's per user. Sprout Social, the same. If you're looking at the pricing, the features that we provide, these are the competing prices for all the features we're giving you. Loomly, Later, Buffer, right? So just because it's affordable doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It means that we're fighting for you. It means that we know how rough the world has it. We know that you know things are kind of in upheaval at the moment. It means we are putting you first. So our pricing, we've got a $99 a month plan, or if you bill it annually, it's going to be discounted to $83 a month. So you're going to get 2 months free if you do a 12-month sign up. Again, you've got a week free trial, or you can play around in our sandbox options that we have for you. But you're going to get this full list and more of all of these features. And you're going to have me. You're going to have me as your unlimited amount of support. So where a lot of systems work and a lot of systems come into play on this, there's some limits that you find, but with VinePost, you're given all of it up front. Now I'm just going to share it's just a very brief amount of time here of how it works, how it looks, how easy is it to use. We're going to show you all that right now. And we've got about 4 minutes left, and then we'll be able to also jump into any Q&A that you've got after, if you'd like to stay on for that. So I'm just going to share my live feed here. We'll switch my share to my other monitor. There we go. All right, so you should be able to see VinePost. Now, one of the things I didn't mention is VinePost also lives inside Commerce 7. So if you were to install the app, which is optional, VinePost can be accessed right from within the Commerce 7 platform. So I can show you that in a minute. But here it is right here. So here's your dashboard initially. It says, here's one of the clients that we work with. They're not wine related, but this is just one that has some great examples for you. So you've got 20,301 people saw this social media post over the last 7 days. Gives you just a little glimpse with the little piece of content there. Not only do you get all the analytics that I talked about, but you have this ability to create some content right from here. So let's show you how easy it is. Click on the post option, give it a name for your content library, Wine Wednesday. Then you can just quite easily choose which posts you want to send this to. So if this is going to be a video, then we'll make sure that all of our different platforms are connected. You can also select all linked accounts if you want. And then you choose a video, you upload a video from your computer. And you can also do this from a mobile device as well. What's nice about it is it doesn't have an app. So you just have a shared icon right on your phone screen, just a saved bookmark on your phone, and then pop it open. It adapts itself for your mobile experience. So it's just as easy to use on the phone. But I'm just going to demonstrate here. So if you upload a video, click it here. Typically, there is a specific format that you'd want to follow for the format. It tells you what the format should be right here. So the recommendation is going to be kind of like for Reels, the portrait of your phone. So it gives you the dimensions to follow. If you're making a video, if you're familiar with making videos already, you're probably already familiar with this resolution. And then with images, you can choose to have the carousel option. So you can click here, choose an image, and then you can go ahead and put them in. So I'm just going to choose, for the sake of expediency, we're going to choose add stock images for the moment. And we're just going to grab a winery themed tag image. There we go. Okay. And then if we want to add more, we can either drag and drop from our computer, or we can add some more images in here. So I'm just going to add a couple more for our carousel. So here we have very nice little carousel here. And really quick, if you go into the caption section, enjoy our wines today, but let's make that more platform specific. Now we can switch between our different platforms. So, platforms like Threads, they need to have a character limit, whereas Instagram, Facebook, they don't have the same character limit at all. So there's the kicker there. And when you tag people, if you're tagging a follower or a fellow winery or a member of your team that has their own social account, you can tag them differently across the different platforms as well. So it recognizes them if you were to tag somebody, like Bob, uh, Bob Wine Builder or winemaker. There you go. Bob Winemaker right there. So that's all the control that you have. It makes it super easy. You don't have to plug in the images multiple times like some platforms require you to. You don't have to put in the caption multiple times. And then with the caption AI tools, you can say, hey, I want a celebratory tone. I want 3 examples right here. Oops. I want 3 examples in my captions, and we're celebrating Wine Wednesday with 5% off. And then you can ask for emoji and hashtag and platform specific recommendations. So when you say generate captions, it's going to take a moment. It's going to generate. Again, there's no like AI credit limitations that it's going to require you to follow. All right, so here's our generated captions. Choose which ones you like the best. It's throwing emojis in there, which are always effective when it comes to social media. Just having that little splash of color, that little visual helps keep the attention of your followers. If you don't like any of them, then you can always regenerate your captions as well. I like this top one, I like the captions. And now it's pulled these different captions in. They're slightly different for each platform. I didn't choose LinkedIn in this example, but I could have. And then here we have the pieces that they're going to use. All right. And so if I require approval, approvals are amazing, especially if you're an agency and you're trying to send content to be approved. The way the approvals work is the simplest in the world. It sends the content as a link to your client or to your boss or whomever needs to approve. And then all they have to do they don't need to have an account. They just have the specialized link and they can say, edit this piece, or I approve this piece. And you can send multiple pieces of content to them to approve. And then you can also recycle the content. If you want to, have this expire after a certain time period and not show it anymore, you can do that. Or you can have it expire after posting it 3 different times. You control when it's going to be recycled. It's going to be in your content library, and you can say, okay, well, it's been 3 months, let's recycle it again. So you have full control over this. If you want, you can then tag some users as well, depending on which platform you're looking at, and it gives you an example of kind of how it's going to look on the 2 main platforms. Right? Then you can schedule it. Choose to either post it now if it doesn't require approval, post it now, or you can schedule it for another time. And so if we choose to schedule it, you've already kind of looked for the best times to do it, but you can go ahead and schedule it. So that's just the posting capabilities. Really quick, just to show you the analytics behind it. There's tons of other features with it, but just to show you the insights, this gives you an example of what kind of post you're posting that is the most effective. Videos posts with the short caption perform better than any other post type, and they recommend posting at the optimal time between 6 and 9 a.m. Pacific. So huge engagement compared to the other types of posts. You can see the examples there. And then as you scroll down, you can see all the different other kinds of types we've been trying. This got some comments, this got some comments, got some likes, but down at the bottom, this one here, video post with short caption, we should be doing that all the time with this particular client and their audience and following. And then lastly, the community, check this out. You can see a heat map of where your most followers exist. Where are they following you from? And then you can scroll down and see your demographics here, in this case, in age groups. So really, really valuable information. Gives you some useful details as to what to do and how to strategize this in the future. And you can also see which kind of hashtags are being viewed the most. So Epic Deal was viewed the most. That was the best kind of post hashtag. So I should probably use that some more. And then you can look at other kind of analytics as well. The last thing we'll show you real quick is the reports. You can send the report across to your team, and this can go to your client. This can go to whomever you need to see. But what's great about this is if you connect to your Google Analytics for your website, you can see your web conversions from your social media platforms to your website. Not only that, you can see how long they're staying on your website pages after such a conversion. And then you can see, okay, well, did they make any purchases or not? So from all of that information, you can kind of see the valuable pieces of information here. And it looks like my report is just taking a little bit of time to load. So I'm going to switch back to our presentation here. I will just give you a glimpse into what that actually looks like. A lot of what that report shows is this. Shows your audience growth, your exposure, your reach, your clicks. It shows all this information. And then it also shows your insights. So this information there as well. The one thing it does differently in the report tool is it shows the web analytical portion and how the conversions are working. And it looks like it just got held up because I think my internet connection was a little bit shoddy when I initiated that report. And we talked about scheduling out, so you can kind of see here a schedule. Wouldn't that be great to just be able to put this in, drag and drop your content where you want it to be, right? You can make your posts ahead of time and then you can drag and drop them, or as you're creating them, you can schedule them. So this really will help you get ahead of the game and not be so bogged down once you have kind of the flow of this in place. So here's the report that we generated. Again, it kind of shows you some more pieces here. So again, this report can be sent to whomever you're working with. If you want to send this to your client, if you're a marketing agency, or if you want to send this along to the head of marketing. All right. So we're going to switch this back over to our presentation. Make sure my presentation is full screen here. Okay. Let me know if you're seeing my presentation again. Looks like it's good.
I'm still seeing a calendar, Dan.
Still seeing a calendar. There we go. How's that? Is that better?
Yep. Yep. There we go.
Thanks. Awesome. So free trial, give it a shot. Let us know. There's so many marketing teams I talk to, and they say, "Oh, I'm too busy to even consider anything." Well, this is the solution to that. All right. So now it's time for some Q&A. Let's take a look and see kind of Q&A we've got going on here. I appreciate you jumping in. All right. Okay. And while we're here, Jeff, what did you think?
Uh, it's really impressive. It's a robust platform. It's got a ton of features. I could definitely see that being extremely helpful for wineries, Dan. Well done. And I do have a
Yeah.
question,
Oh yeah.
actually, while you're getting, can I ask a quick question while you're getting oriented
Absolutely.
here?
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, it feels to me like the AI image generation and video generation is just getting like kind of amazing. I'm just kind of curious if you've seen wineries using that successfully yet. And if not, what any recommendations or insights you have on when to, start mixing in some, you know, AI generated imagery and videos.
That's a really good question. It's going to depend on your audience.
Yeah.
So here's VinePost and Commerce 7, by the way. It's going to depend on your audience. You're going to have to be able to read if your audience is what they think of AI. Because if they see an AI generated video or an AI generated picture, they may be completely turned off from that and stop following you. So really be sure that you know who your audience is first before you go ahead and create any kind of
Mhm.
video. With like Google VO3 now, it's
Right.
making very realistic videos. It's scary. Um, and yeah, because there's so much division on it, I would
Hmm.
recommend just being really careful first before going ahead and doing that. Um, AI caption generation is one thing because you can't really tell it's been AI generated. It's
Hmm.
and the goal of it is to help you to expedite your process in creating your commenting and creating your posts. Whereas the video portion of it, we've gotten to a point where um, many feel that it's a negative thing to make a video that's completely fake or completely AI generated rather,
Yeah.
uh, and it makes many audience members feel that that there wasn't effort put into it, even though there was probably quite a bit of effort
Mhm.
to to generate that. So yeah, I would say just make sure your audience knows first, and it may take some time before people start becoming more acclimated to it, before that becomes really the way to go. That might be a hot take, but
Yeah.
that's kind of the direction. I would say tread cautiously. There are some
Yeah.
there are some accounts out there now that are more parody based that are fully AI generated, but because they're hilarious and humorous and realistic, that's generating millions and millions of followers. But they're
Mhm.
really following it because they already know it's AI. They know that they're not doing it for money, right? Um, that they know that they're just doing it for humor and for fun. So yeah, they'll follow it. They're still scared sort of because it's so realistic and weird, but they're still intrigued by the generation of it. So yeah, that's kind of my hot take on it, I would say. We did get a Q&A question in right here. From Tim, great presentation, really valuable stuff here. How does this help me understand what types of posts to share? Awesome question. So when you look at your insights, and I'm doing this from within the C7 platform, by the way, as you can see here, it's just kind of just like you'd experience on the desktop, but here it is. Um, so when you have no posts made yet, you're going to see just very few colors in this vicinity. It's only going to detect what kind of posts you've been making. For if you've been doing one kind of post the whole time, it's going to show just one post type. But if you've been doing various types, it's going to detect them and show them to you. And right from here, it will really clearly indicate to you image posts with a long caption containing hashtags, asking a question, you know, you didn't get a whole lot of comments. On average, it was less than one comment. Then over here, image posts with a short caption containing hashtags, you got a higher percentage of comments on average. So you can kind of see what the description is here. And then if you have a post that matches this content, you can click view matching content, and then that will display any kind of post that you made in VinePost. And it will show you, okay, well, these are the 5 posts you made in VinePost. That's the content that people are resonating with here. If you can see which likes by post type, there is this other category here that can sometimes fit the bill, but that kind of falls under it doesn't really fall into any of these other kind of types. So you have to kind of focus on the types that you are doing, because in this case, a lot of posts we did through threads got a lot of attention, and those are text based only. Whereas what we're trying to do here in this particular section is focus on the ones that are producing a lot of photo and video content. What is going to be the most beneficial here? And so in this case, video post with a short caption, super beneficial. We can see it's getting the most kind of shares, but then again, see what kind of content you're actually producing with this. And then when you hit view matching content, it'll display what you've made in VinePost. So I don't have that in VinePost at this point. I did this prior to this particular integration of this instance. But if you were to have created a click matching content, then you'd see it. So hopefully that was helpful. And it also, again, gives you the indicator of when to post. So really, really valuable here. And this is the, not just one account. You can also, spread this out across different kinds of accounts. So for Instagram, images with a long caption containing hashtags was better, and it was better to post at a later time, and it's more engaging. And then if you choose threads, you can see, okay, video posts on threads, which you can do. Again, similar time frame, but more engaging. So asking a question, it has been far more effective on threads. People like to give their opinion on threads because it's kind of like the new Twitter. So it's really beneficial in that realm. There we go. Yeah, great question. All right. One more question here. Along with the report, along with the report will help and save me a ton of time. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Great. Awesome. Great. Well, we always encourage additional dialogue. So if you have any questions after having watched this, if you weren't here live watching this and you're watching this after the fact, and you have some questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you have any questions on tips around your social media and you want to have a consultation or something, feel free to let us know. We're happy to help you grow organically. And Jeff, you mentioned migrations earlier. Um, uh, I because VinePost, I'm also PenderCo. We have a really nice little niche that we fit into where we can assist you in addition to what Commerce 7 already provides. If you have something else that requires a little more hand holding, obviously go to Commerce 7 first. But if there's anything additional that you need help to get launched, we've been a good mediator and a good assistant when it comes to getting you launched and live. So happy to help there too. Great.
It's awesome.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for joining us. It was a pleasure. Thanks to everyone else for joining us. We had, a number of participants join us today, and so we didn't expect too many questions because we answered so many in the presentation. So, all right. Until then, thank you again, and Jeff, we'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for having us, Dan. Great job.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.